hearing, Mr. Abbas. Now, are you still with us? I want you to paint us a word picture here, because as you can see, the pictures are full of joy. They are showing that how Palestinian families are feeling. How does this media portrayal is differing or is different from what the Western media is trying to show us?
Well, actually, the image today is doubled in joy. It's not regular joy. It's extra joy because families were crushed on Saturday. We have witnessed the tears. We have witnessed the cries. We have witnessed the shouts of unbelievement that the swap was paused last Saturday. But now this all of this joy that you are seeing and witnessing. Of course, I wish I could even convey this happiness between Palestinian families to you even more, because those tears of joy and those really happy moments, those moments that families had longed for many years. Families were not able to even touch the hands of their loved ones, and for the last 16 months we are talking about hundreds, not hundreds, tens of thousands of Palestinians, 10,400 Palestinians to be precise, under Israeli occupation, under Israeli detainment, without any news whatsoever to their families. And of course, what we know about the extreme inhumanitarian and their situation inside the Israeli jails is unprecedented. It's unbelievable what we are hearing testimonies from freed prisoners. So when you meet a loved one that you have longed for and you are in extreme fear for their lives, you tend to be more joyous even about meeting them. And even despite on top of that, I have actually made many interviews with the families of the Palestinian prisoners. They are saying that we will show joy just to make the Israeli part and the Israeli regime feel more depressed about the resilience of the Palestinian people.
Sorry, Naga, for cutting you off, because I'm going to switch over to our correspondent, Ahmad al-Najjar. He rejoins us right now. Ahmad, I'm going to pose the same question to you. How does the Western media portrayal of these exchanges differ from the reality on the ground for Palestinians?
Well, most of the attention of the Western media regarding what we witnessed over these exchanges, processing the Gaza Strip, over the constant implementation of the ceasefire, is focusing mostly on the state of the Israeli captives and using them for their propaganda, for showing that look at these humans taken in captivity, taken illegally, and ignoring the fact that in exchange for those captives, we're talking about hundreds and thousands who were taken for years by the Israeli occupation and barely getting any notice by this same media. And what the Palestinians are trying to do here, whether by the local media teams or the people themselves, portraying these joyful moments for the Palestinians, for these historical moments that the world witnessed since the start of these swap deals, to show the nefarious face of the Israeli occupation, who has no trouble detaining thousands and thousands of Palestinians and leaving them in inhumane conditions. And in these moments, in these swap deals, these people are trying to show that their spirits, even after these long years behind the Israeli bars, cannot be broken, it cannot be crushed, as these families, who are in a way also taken captives by the Israeli occupation, who held its blockade upon the Gaza Strip in a way, and these families are just marking these historic moments as they are anticipating for the arrival of their loved one, as they've witnessed over the past weeks, to send other powerful messages through these historical ceremonial events for Palestinian people of challenge and defiance for the Israeli occupation, who tries to put more shackles on the freedom and the basic rights of the Palestinian people.
That's right. Ahmed, I'm going to let you go. That was Press TV's analyst. Now let's bring back Said Mohsen Abbas, journalist and analyst from London. Mr. Abbas, what does this exchange reveal about Israel's weakening ability to suppress Palestinian resistance? And how do you think this freeing of Palestinian abductees is going to affect the second phase of the ceasefire?
Well, quite clearly, that the fact that Benjamin Netanyahu's had to be forced, essentially, he didn't do this willingly, forced into a ceasefire, and he was forced because of the power of the Palestinian resistance being brought to a low. Don't forget, every time they went back into Gaza, into Jabalia, wherever, they were beaten back, and they would say we've cleared it all up, but they would then have to come back in because they hadn't cleared it all up, and that was because the Palestinian resistance was being very effective. So let's first of all get it straight. This prisoner release is nothing to do with any magnanimity of Netanyahu. It's actually more to do with the fact that he has been forced into a position where he had to release, essentially it's going to be thousands of Palestinians in return for a handful of Israelis. So what it shows is another sign of Israel's failure in the war. And as I was saying before, the sound went a little bit weird. I actually made it clear that the resistance in Gaza had managed to force the return of these thousands of Palestinians who were detained. And of course, there's been about 8,800 of them who were, I think, detained since October the 7th alone. But there are still less. What I want to focus on is the fact that even though this victory has been achieved, and it has exposed Israel's weakness, it's exposed that Israel cannot take out Gaza, it cannot control Gaza, and they literally admitted it by acquiescing to this ceasefire when they actually set off on a complete ethnic cleansing mission. And all their statements were about how they were going to wipe the whole place out, get rid of Hamas, destroy the tunnels. None of it happened, really. None of it was achieved, none of those targets. The only thing they achieved was killing hundreds of thousands of youngsters, women, and civilians. So this is not an achievement. But the condition, I think we spend too little time discussing the reality of life in prison. They've been barbaric. Literally, these men who are coming out, many of them have been there for a very, very long time. But we have to take a pause and say that medieval practices, horrific treatment, disgusting, despicable, inhumane treatment has been meted out to these individuals. They haven't even been given real trials. The West Bank,